Okay, so once we are ready to start focusing on our work more precisely into facial gestures in animation, it's important that we see it and we acknowledge that we are about to start working on the most important part of the whole character. More from a human or biological perspective, we can see that the face is a very complex part of our body. There's like more than 50 muscles right here, and all of them, they react to any kind of emotional change or any kind of physical situation is reflected in our face. Culturally speaking and biologically speaking, every time we talk and we communicate to each other, well, we do it through the face. We stare at each other. That's how we do it. You can see that how this also is the center of most of our senses, like smelling, the taste, the ear, the eyes. Everything is happening here, right? So that is clearly saying that there's a lot of things going on here. This is the center of let's say the interaction with the real world, or let's say this is a very important bridge of how we interact with what surrounds us, not just the people but also the rest of the stuff. Eye tracking system, I will give you some references in the handbook, are definitely proving that audience, when they're looking at a show or something in a screen, the eyes of the audience, they always goes and fall into the faces of the figures that are into the screen. So we are always unconsciously looking for those faces. So these are very good lessons to more or less explain why we should pay special attention to the facial animation itself. But the other reason of why we have to pay a special attention to the facial, the animation of the facial expressivity, is because facial animation has its own language. It has its own sense of appealing. If we look close to how our face works and how is all this machine of expressivity works, we don't do that in animation. Generally speaking, our face or real face doesn't go as far and as extreme as we do in animation, even though that we are working on a kind of like more Pixar-esque style where it tends to go towards kind of like a more stylized realism. Our face don't go that far in terms of pushed poses or expressivity, so we don't really match 100% what happened in reality and in animation. It's basically impossible. That's why animation through these years have created, let's say, its own language and its own way to create this kind of translation of what happened in my face in a real character. A very good example, for example, is manga. See how they created manga and emoticons, right? See how they have created their own language that sometimes is far from reality, like the big drop, for example, in manga. All those kind of things doesn't happen in reality, but society has learned to read that and understand how is that happening. So you need to know how is this language and how to apply it in an appealing way to really do like a good job on facial animation. From my perspective, I believe that appeal here has also a very functional characteristic when it comes to facial animation, because when we have, let's say, an appealing message through our facial poses, we're making to the public to receive it openly and without any issue. So this is when appeal becomes very important. You may have, for example, use like lots of cliches, or maybe your acting choices cannot be very interesting or can be like a little poor. That if you have a very good appealing poses overall in the face, you're gonna gain the interest of the audience. This comes down to the basic of what we talk with the success rule, no? When how marketing people pays a lot of attention to create messages that are appealing enough, right? You probably remember how these very bad products that are useless, if they are very well done in marketing and it creates some kind of very funny or appealing message to the audience, they can succeed and get people interested in buying the stuff just because of the way they are selling and the way they're telling their message is interesting, right? So that's what we want to do now. Really, we want to push the appeal of oral facial expressions as much as we can to really sell the message that we are sending through our face.